All right, hey guys, Jason here. We are up here. And actually it is starting to rain pretty good on us right now, but we are up here at Jimmy Britt here in Statesboro. Sunday, nobody's around, but we're gonna talk about doing your lift and your levels the right way and understanding rake on a vehicle. So we're gonna look at some of these factory vehicles that we have here. So I put this into perspective before I show you what's going on there. So if we come over here, and again, it is raining, so we're probably gonna get a little wet. Might even get some on the camera. I've been making videos all day and we managed to beat in between storms and we're getting a little sprinkle right now. But look at here. Okay, so here we have a factory Gladiator. Okay, look at the distance, the height difference between the rear fender and the tire and the front fender and the tire. See how we have more distance here? If we put our hand in here, you can see how much height we got on here. You know, you can barely touch there, and we come up here in the front and we put that same thing there and it doesn't even fit. Look at the difference here, okay? We got much less room here than we do back here in the back, okay? And that's pretty common. That's especially in a pickup truck. That's called rake. Okay, that rake is that level forward distance that we have in there. Why do trucks do that? Trucks do that because they're expected to carry weights. Now, weight in the back. Now, Jeeps, look at, Jeeps do not. Okay, they got a little bit, usually just a smidge, rake forward, just a little bit. Here you can see it. Okay, you can see the slight difference between this one and the wheel gap on the front. Got a little bit of rake angle in there. You can also see it in the body line here, where this comes in on in relationship for this rock rail to the rear, or to the about top of that lug nut. You can see it's down a little lower here. You can see a little difference there. Okay, that is called rake. Now, again, rake is designed to give you carrying capacity, capability to carry some weight in the back end is the whole purpose of that, and keep you riding pretty level in there and be able to handle some more payload. Pickup trucks, like I said, notorious for it. Oh, you don't even notice it, but it's there on pretty much every vehicle. Now, then people go modifying that, okay? Notice on mine. Mine is about dead nuts even, exactly dead nuts even. That's on purpose. We'll talk about that in a minute. But okay, even here on these vans, notice that we got way more clearance here than we do in the front ones. And look at the height of where this body line right here comes in above the lug nuts, and up here, it comes in center of the axle. Okay, that's rake. Why do they do that? Because this beast is going to haul some, you're going to have some weight in it, and it's going to put some sag on the back end, and they want it to ride safe when it does. That's called rake. Pickup trucks have it too. Every one of them does from the factory, some more than other. Here, look at how low the front is versus the back is. Same thing on that body line. You can identify it based on where it comes in to that body line, comes into the lug nuts and the axles and stuff like that. So you can see it on every one of these things. Then we come over here, here's a stock one, okay? Two of the same trucks, basically. Stock form, look at the height difference between the front and the rear. This is a modified lifted. Notice how much higher we are in the front than we are in the rear, okay? Much higher in the front than in the rear. This has got more in the front than it does, more clearance in the front than the rear. This one's sitting about true level. This one, more height in the front than in the rear. Okay, that's common. That's what people are doing. Now, you can do this stuff with a level kit, or you can do it with a lift kit. But now keep in mind, look at this truck, looks perfect, right? Sits really nice, sits really aggressive, pretty level, pretty set, and then you go put 300 pounds of weight in the back of this thing, or gear in there, and now you're gonna be sagging. And it's okay if you're just doing a quick weekend camping trip, but if you're leaving 300 pounds of gear in there, you need to accommodate for that. You wanna take that stuff into consideration. Look at the difference on it, look at that Chevy, factory rake on that Chevy. Okay, Ford's notorious. You see it in Ford all the time with how much rake they have, but even a Yukon. Look at the difference between the angle of where the body line comes into the axles. Look at how high up it is on the back corner versus the front. Look at the difference in the fenders. Okay, again, rake for carrying payload capacity. At F250 right there, look at the difference there between the front wheels and the rear wheels. Same exact concept. So we understand this and what it's there for. Now, oh my God, look at this gem right here that is used, but you don't see these too often anymore. And my God, I want to look and see if it's actually a stick. I would love it if this was a manual. Let's take a look. I'm curious. Are we lucky enough? Oh, it is not. Man, that would have been something to see if it was. That would have been very, very cool. But nope, it is not. Would have been neat. Anyway, so we understand that concept. Now, if you lift one There's a lift kit. Lifts the front, lifts the rear. If you level one, you're just lifting the front end. And a lot of people will do a leveling kit to try and get that balance and get rid of that rake and take that front end up so that it levels. They don't take into account what they're going to put in the bed of the truck or in the back of their Jeep or in the back of their 4Runner. And that whole thing is going to sag and it's going to be looking weird once you put weight in it. Also, when you buy a vehicle, the more you put stuff in the back over time, the more sag you're going to develop in it naturally. So you got to take that stuff into consideration. Now look at mine. Look at my Gladiator. See how it sits about perfect? It still has a little slight bit of rake. You can see it again when you look at the rock rails on there. You can see the rock rail height between where it's coming up above the lug nuts on the back. Just below the top lug nut on the front. You can see the difference in there. Little bit of rake to it still, but almost leveled out. Why is it like that? It's because I knew that we didn't have to change nothing, but we're carrying gear in there. That's what does it. We open the back of this thing up. I have in the back corner back there, I have a 100-pound winch set up right there on a cradle hitch in the back. I got probably 15 pounds of boots and gear here. I got in that corner, I got my jack plate. I got my ice cooler that rides in here all the time. That's in here full of waters and stuff like that. I got a 10-pound battery, LiPo4 battery back there that is actually running this whole thing and this whole setup. Again, I'm running gear in here. This stuff lives in here nonstop all the time, all hunting season long. I got that all wired in right here so I can turn it on and run it with that ice cold fridge. This is a fridge freezer. Okay, this whole thing basically is a whole system in itself. You pop that out of there for you. Hold on. I'll get you some slack and show you. But this thing, hang on, pop it here. But this is a this is a non-ice, it's a fridge and a freezer. It's its own fridge and its own freezer system in here. It runs on 12 volt and I can actually power it through my phone, turn it on and off anytime I want to. I love this unit. This thing has just been, it's a gold mine. I don't have to deal with ice anymore. And I put this plug system in. There we go. She's plugged in. You can see a digital display. It runs, works like a champ. But this weight in here, this gear in here, gives me that level. Okay, understand the perfectness of that. Had I went ahead and just lifted this thing right off the bat and said, oh, the rake was too much, I didn't like it, and then I leveled out the front and lifted just the front up to level that out, by putting that, 200 pounds of gear in the bed of that thing, we would have been way lower in the back than we are in the front. Knowing we're carrying gear, we average out about perfect. So you want to take that stuff into consideration. If you are thinking about doing a lift, doing a level, doing any of that kind of stuff, how is it going to affect what you do with the vehicle later on? Look at that Jeep right there. See that? Look at the difference between the back and the difference in the front. That's set up perfect. You want to go putting some weight in there and loading that thing up, it's going to level out just about perfect. Some of them do, some of them do not. When they do their lifts, like you see on this 35 package, okay, this lift right here, notice that the front is actually sitting higher than the rear already with the Jeep Mopar lift. Okay, that's by design. They want them to be that way so it gets there, but in reality, if you were to take this vehicle and load that up heavy for regular all the time kind of stuff, you are gonna now ride nose high, tail low. These are things that you gotta keep in mind. You see it again here on this Willis, same exact thing. And you can always check. It's hard to tell the difference of rake or how much clearance is based on the fenders, okay, which is what we usually do, and that's what I've been pointing out to you. That is one way, but it is not a good way. The best way is to run a body line. Okay, something like this rock rail, and see where that comes in relationship to that tire, and then see where it comes in relationship to this tire. You can already see that it's higher in the front than it is in the rear just by looking at that. Just like on my Gladiator, you can see that I am almost exactly level. I'm about an inch higher in the rear than I am in the front, and I am loaded down, and that's exactly how we want it, which is plumb perfect as far as I'm concerned. But these are things that you need to consider if you are going to go modding your vehicle. You are going to lift them, you're going to put bigger wheels on, you're going to do any of that kind of stuff. This is food for thought for you to make sure that you get the look you're looking at or that you're looking for. you want to make sure that you're doing it right, knowing that you're going to have it loaded up. If you're building an overlanding rig, you're building an off-road rig where you're going to have things in there, stuff like this kind of stuff, take that weight into consideration and let your suspension adjustments be after you're fully loaded, after you've given it a little time to settle in, after you've let it prove itself and see where you're at, then make those adjustments. Otherwise, you might not be happy, and then you're going to start adding in spacer blocks and things like that to try and compensate for that, which they're not bad, but you're much better off just to do springs and do it right to begin with springs and shocks in a real lift kit rather than using spacers and things of that. So just food for thought for you to make sure that when you're gonna set your rig up, that you're setting it up the way you want. You're not gonna do something you're gonna regret later and have to come back for. Questions, comments, anything you got, put them down below. Thanks for watching.